me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing.
The Dolphins are having a lot of success this year, and yes, we have a great coach. Mike McDaniel's really turned around this Dolphins team, and of course, Tua is playing fantastic. The team is playing really good. Josh Boyer has the defense sort of stopping the other opposing team enough so that we have a large enough lead. Tyreek Hill is doing amazing. Waddle's doing amazing. We have some running backs. Yes, we have a lot of things going well for us, but we need to really look at someone that is behind the scenes doing everything for us. And no, it's not Stephen Ross. He's really screwed us over a bunch of times. We need to look at Chris Grier. A lot of people wanted to write off Chris Grier after the whole Flores situation, but we have to remember that if you really look back and you look into what was going on, Chris Grier was really trying to set us up for success in this team. You can look at AKA Eric Flowers. You can look at another player that I think he's an offensive lineman for the Saints that is doing fantastic for them, that was on the Dolphins teams doing well. And honestly, what kept happening was every person that Chris Grier would try and bring in, if it didn't agree with Brian Flores, he got rid of him. And it started frustrating Chris Grier right along last season. It was probably the beginning when obviously you saw Dan Marino was going up to Tua, the guy that Chris Grier wanted to draft. It was basically the quarterback that Chris Grier really was putting himself on the line for, Dan Marino. And a lot of the players would rally around Tua, and honestly, Brian Flores was really destroying it. So what I think was amazing by Chris Grier is figuring out a way to not allow a coach like AKA Brian Dable, the guy that was with Houston, I forgot his name. Wow, I'm blanking on his name, but the guy that got rid of DeAndre Hopkins and basically destroyed the Texans by making Deshaun Watson pretty much want to leave. Not allowing that to happen for the Dolphins because Flores didn't really know what he was doing, and it looks like Chris Grier really does. Getting rid of Flores really was the first step for me to seeing that Chris Grier is an amazing general manager, and he really is doing things that are putting us up for success. The second thing is going to be his draft picks. I understand that, sure, there are some draft picks that haven't hit, but I mean, to be honest, no team is always going to hit on every single draft pick that they have. But under Chris Grier's regime, we have Christian Wilkins, we have Javon Holland, we have Brandon Jones, we have Tua Tagovailoa, we have Jalen Waddle. He has traded for Tyreek Hill. He has gotten in free agency Teron Armstead. He has also brought in Connor Williams in his free agency time. I mean, the guy is really, he's put in Eric Flowers. He brought over the Patriots linebacker, I'm forgetting the name of as well, that really hated Brian Flores too. He's brought in a bunch of players that have really had success in this system and in this area. Even Eric Rowe, he brought over, or actually, that was probably both of them, but he's brought over a lot of players that have had success with the Miami Dolphins. And I think you just have to look at a lot of these things, and he is hitting on a lot of players. Even Myles Gaskin, he's not the starter, but the guy contributes to the team, and that's what you can ask for in a 7th round pick. He's brought over with Trent Sherfield. He's definitely brought over a lot of players and drafted a lot of great players in this time frame of him being a general manager, and has really turned this team into not only just a team that is talented, but a team that is young. Like, we are all getting better on this team every single week. Every player is getting better. Yes, there are some holes, but the amount of time that he's had to turn this franchise around, I mean, we were a relative 8-8 team for the last 20 years. Never, even when we were winning, did we ever think we were going to the Super Bowl or we even had a shot. It was more so like, oh, this is really cool that we're winning, but we probably know it's not sustainable. Now, not only has he turned this franchise into a very relevant team, the best offense in the league, and really just one of the scariest teams in the NFL, he has really turned it into something that we could probably build off the next 5-6 years 10, maybe 20, depending on how he keeps going. But the way that he's doing it, it looks like he's turned our team to something that's going to be relevant for the next decade. And I don't think people realize how hard that is to do with most teams. We were in a position where he decided to trade all of our good assets away because we weren't moving forward with any of these players. And you can't say it was Brian Flores, because Brian Flores in a lawsuit wanted to blame him for the apparent making him lose. So what I can say is that they had a great plan. Yes, it may have been different. The may have been the first 2 years have been really a struggle-filled seasons, but to be honest, doing all those things has set us up to be able to get to a point. And one of the biggest things is Stephen Ross took away one of our first-round picks. He would have had another first-round pick. I mean, to be able to set us up like that in the draft and in free agency, and having hit on most of the players, if not 75% of them, is incredible. The guy has really set us up for success. And those are a couple examples, but just the way that he keeps running the team, keeps doing the best possible things, allows the coach to have input, but doesn't have the coach controlling every single thing that he's doing. The guy has really been an underlying piece of success to our team. It started 5 years ago, and he really has continued to grow as a general manager, and he's becoming one of the best GMs in the league. And just by showing like what he's done for this Dolphins team, I mean, the 3 years, he had a 3-year plan, and it looks like he's really almost there to accomplishing it. And that's pretty incredible to just put a 3-year plan and have completely turned around this franchise in the 3 years that you had. Guy is underlyingly making this team the best team. This is why it's not just the coaches and the players, it's the front office that's really doing a great job. It's all cylinders on why the Dolphins are, no coincidence, becoming a great team in the NFL. Like and subscribe if you like this video. I hope you enjoyed this content. I feel like this is a video that was taking us away a little bit from the team and showing a little bit of the behind the scenes, the people that don't get credit. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and peace. Fins up.